Welcome all to the Super Skewer Challenge, okay? This is your host, your chess teacher, Ben Quirkin here, drinking a cup of coffee. And I'm all wild up for this huge challenge that we're having today of the Super Skewer. Okay, let's get at the chessboard here. I got a couple of examples of what a skewer is. A pin last week was, remember, there's a piece that is smaller to a bigger piece, okay? There's always two pieces lining up to each other. If you can see between the yellow lines here, there's a king and a queen. Now, if we had a rook here attacking the queen, you know, the queen is actually being pinned to the king here because the queen is smaller than the king, and a pin is when we're attacking a smaller piece to a bigger piece. Okay? So that is what a pin is. Always attacking a smaller piece to a bigger piece. And why did I leave the king highlighted as yellow? Because now we already know what a pin is. Attacking a smaller piece to a bigger piece. A skewer is exact opposite. Is attacking the bigger piece to the smaller piece. So there's this king here, right? I'm really highlighting him. He is the bigger piece to this smaller piece queen, right? So all we have to do is somehow attack the king, and when we're attacking the king, there has to be something smaller behind it, like a queen. And this would be a skewer. So, for example, we just placed the rook right here. Now we're attacking the king to the queen. King is bigger than the queen. It's a skewer, right? So that is one example of a skewer. The king will move out of the way, and we just win the queen. So that is one example. Now we're getting to one more example, and then starting problems. Okay, here is white to move here. So we're looking for another skewer. A skewer can be from either a bishop, a rook, or a queen. It can never be from a knight, because a knight does not attack in a straight line. Remember that. The only piece that cannot do a pin or a skewer is a knight. Everyone else should be able to. Well, let's see here. The king cannot pin or skewer, nor can the pawn or the knight. They cannot make it happen. They can help support and add pressure and help you win a piece, but they cannot perform the pin or skewer. Since we're doing skewers now, let's look at this. Between these two guys, we can tell we can either do a pin or a skewer. Now, if we want to do a pin, somehow we would have to have like a bishop right here attacking this knight, because the knight is smaller than this rook. Okay? But that will be kind of very tough to get over there and almost impossible. So what we see here, we now know that this rook here is bigger than this knight. Okay? So we want to get this bigger piece being attacked, and behind it is the knight. So what we do is grab our bishop here, move it right here, and attack. And then we got a little skewer going on, and we'll win the knight. And I got the computer on again. Okay. I wish the computer was never on. Okay. So as you can see, we move the bishop, attacking the rook. Behind it's a knight. The rook will maybe take the pawn, and then we just take the knight. Good example, right? Okay, let's get on to the last example, actually. Explain the piece value. Okay, quick question about number systems. Okay, what is worth only 1 point? Can you figure out all these pieces here? Correct answer is pawn. Pawn is worth 1 point. Well, since it's only worth 1 point, we're going to use 1 pawn. It's worth a pawn, right? Okay. What is worth 3 pawns? There's 2 pieces here worth 3 pawns. Okay. That is the knight and the bishop. They're both worth 3 pawns each. Okay. What is worth 5 pawns? It is the rook. What is worth 9? The queen. And what is worth more than everything on the chessboard? It's the king. He has no value. He's just more important than everyone else. So we can see 1 through infinity, okay? So over here is the most, this is the least. So anything over on the right side being attacked first and anything to its left is behind it, it will be considered a skewer. So if the king's being attacked and there's a queen behind it, that's a skewer. If there's a rook behind it, behind the king, that's a skewer. A bishop behind the king, that's a skewer. Same thing with a knight and a pawn. Now, a queen, if you attack the queen and there's a rook behind it, that's a skewer. A bishop behind it, skewer. Knight behind it, skewer. Okay, same thing with the rook. If one of these other 2 pieces behind it, it's also a skewer, okay? So anything to the left of one of these pieces would be a skewer, because those pieces to the left of it is smaller. So okay, ready for the 9 puzzles? Okay, or problems? Okay, let's get on with the challenge. Number 1. Okay, some of these you will not just get as easy as the first 2 examples. You have to create it. You have to make the crazy happen to make it happen, right? So right now I can give you a really strong hint here, and then first one might be tough, but the rest of them, it might become easier. Okay, these 2 pieces are connected. So actually right now, if we move this bishop right here, this is a pin, but we don't want that, because we know that actually this bishop will just take the other bishop back. So the hint here is, since the bishop and rook are lined up, what if the king was where the bishop was at? That's one hint, and you gotta look at this other rook as the other hint, okay? So remember, like the last video, when I say pause your video, you want to pause, give yourself a minute to 3 minutes, however long it takes you to figure out the answer. But don't think longer than 3 minutes. If you can't solve it after 3 minutes, just hit play and see where you're at. But if you think you got it, hit play and see what it says, okay? So right now, it's white to move. Pause your video. Okay, you're back. Now I gotta turn off the computer. And okay, the crazy move is taking this rook here and taking the bishop. It looks kind of weird because the king can just take it back, right? Nothing's protecting the rook. It looks like a bad trade at first, but it's just a crazy move white did. So he can actually move this bishop right here to do the skewer. Since the king is bigger than the rook, we can make that move. The king can't move back because he's still in check, so he has to move this way, and we win the rook. That's problem number 1. I'll give you hints for each one of these. Okay, here's another one. This one is also white to move, so the hint here is you have to make an equal trade to have a really strong skewer. Okay, an equal trade to have a strong skewer. It's white to move. Pause your video. Okay, I assume you're back. The hint was this knight. Well, this knight here, the answer is this knight will take this bishop, right? And it looks kind of strange. So once he takes, well, and queen can just take, right? It's an even trade, but we see that these 2 are lined up together, and there's something on the square right here, which this bishop can actually go to. So this bishop comes here and now is skewering. The queen can either take the bishop back and lose material, you know, a bad trade, trading in like a box of candy for just a piece of candy. You don't want to do that, but best move for black is to move away, and now you get the rook. So black wasn't going to trade his queen for a bishop. He was just going to give up his rook. So at least he has his powerful piece. But that's a skewer, okay? If you've seen that, the bishop attacking a bigger piece to a smaller piece, okay? And you could not protect that smaller piece, so you had to run away, and we get it. Okay, ready for the next one? Problem 3. Okay. The hint here is there's two different skewers. One of them is good, the other one's bad, and it starts off with a sacrifice. So it's black to move. Pause your video. Okay, you ready? Let's go. This queen takes the rook to give a check. Now the queen will take back. Now this bishop or rook will come here to give a check, and behind the king is a queen. So if we looked at all this, it's really this queen will take, because we see that this rook could go right here and potentially attack. We want to use this queen to take that rook. So because then when this queen takes here, we can now use this rook to move over here and start attacking and getting the free piece. So that's what happened. So queen takes, rook skewers, and takes back. If you thought of the other way, what about rook coming here first? Well, this is not a good move, because it's alright. This is not a good move because the queen will take, then this queen will take, checks. The king is still protecting the queen, and now it's even still. It's even. We don't want to do an even trade. You look at this now, it's even compared to this move where we did the queen first, then this queen takes, this bishop or rook comes over here, checks. We can see now we at least have a piece for the black side. So okay, number 4. Okay, here. Now it is white to move here. We want to somehow skewer this king to this queen here, but the problem is this knight protects that square. So should we sacrifice the queen? That is a question. It is white to move. Pause your video. Okay, you are back. So the answer is yes. Sacrifice your queen, because we have this rook protecting it. So then when the knight takes, guess what? You're still giving the skewer. The king has to move out of the way, and now you have 2 rooks versus a rook and a bishop, right? Okay. Halfway there. If you need to pause and take a break, get a quick drink to eat, or get a quick drink, eat something, drink a cup of coffee. Ah, delicious. Well, maybe you shouldn't drink coffee. That's not a good thing, but okay. So if you need to take a break, pause and go away anytime you want in this video. Sorry, I should have said that earlier. But okay, here's problem number 5, and actually it is black to move. We're trying to create another skewer here. The hint is, now I'm not going to show you any more arrows until we get the problem done. You have to make an exchange first as black before you can make the skewer, okay? So you're black, pause your video. Okay, you came back. So the answer is, first this bishop will take, then this king will take back, but this bishop is protecting this square after the king takes back, this bishop is protecting this square. So then this rook will come here to attack. So that's how everything goes. The bishop will take, the king will take back, but now the rook is protected by the bishop and creating the skewer. So the king moves out of the way, and there goes a free piece. We have now two pieces versus one. Black is winning here. Should be an easily one game. Okay, you ready for number 6? We got 4 more to go. It is black to move. Okay, the hint here is we're not trying to exchange for the skewer. Okay, we're trying to force white into a certain square. We're trying to force this king to this square so we can get a skewer going. Okay, that's the hint. So it is black to move. Pause your video. Okay, so you're back, and the actual move is queen comes right here first. It looks weird, but this king right here can't really go anywhere. He cannot come to any of these squares. Right? He cannot go to any one of those because he would still be in check. The only one he can go to is this one right here. He can only go to that square. So he is forced to come to this square. But now, this queen simply just comes right here and gives a little skewer. So, king's forced here. We win the queen. Now we have... Why do I draw arrows all the time? Okay. We got 2 pieces versus 1. Pretty much we're up a queen because the rooks equal each other. So, okay. That's number 6. Here comes number 7. Remember, pause your video if you need a break. But, okay. It is white to move. The hint here is we can get a skewer, but, the hint here is, do you guys remember the rolling rook mate with the, using 2 rooks? Well, that's the hint here, how we're going to get the skewer from the king. Okay, so it's white to move. Pause your video. Okay, so you are back, and the first move is here, giving a check, right? And a note, this king cannot come here because this rook's attacking all back here. So he's forced to come over here. Now, let's say if you move the other rook instead. This is a blunder. Because, do we see this bishop? It's actually skewering both rooks. We don't want to do this. Because now, he will take, and actually, black wins the game now. So, we want to bring the other rook down. Because now, this bishop can't really attack anything. He has nothing to attack. And we're attacking everything else. The king and forcing the king up. So now, the king moves over here. Now we stay off the light squares by moving the other rook down. See this? It's this rook's attacking back here. This rook's attacking and skewering. King's forced to move here. Now, the next question is, should we use this rook to take this queen right now? The answer is we can, but it's not the best move because this king is still protecting the queen. That's the only problem. We have to try to win the queen, absolutely, because that's part of the skewer. We try to win pieces to help us win the game. The answer here is we got to use this pawn. We check the king, draw him away from the queen. He takes it, and now we win the queen. Okay, next problem. Problem number 8. Okay, so here we're trying to get another skewer. There is no exchange, and the hint here is somehow we have to get this queen to this square. But the problem is this king is too close to that square. So we have to somehow move that king back away from that square and still get to that yellow square so we can, skewer. So this queen has to get here somehow when this king is not here, but he's actually here instead, so we can get a skewer. So it is, hopefully you guys understand. We have to somehow make the skewer happen. So wait to move, pause your video. You ready? Okay. The first move is we can't get to that yellow square yet because the king is protecting it and we will lose our queen. So the first move is queen right here. Being protected by the bishop, it's checking the king. So now the king is forced to move away from this square. So now we can move this queen here to give the skewer. Uh-oh. The king is attacking the bishop. What should we do? Yeah, just take the queen and protect the bishop. Everything is okay. We're only up, in material. Okay, so that is number 8. We got one more. And remember, you guys, I will have a link for more problems if you want to, push yourself to more problems, okay? And all you have to do is pause your video, think for a minute to 3, and then play it, okay? And these will be a little bit tougher puzzles than these, okay? Because they get tougher and tougher. But this is the last one, so you can either be done with this one, or you can go on and challenge yourself to become a stronger chess player. So here is the last problem. Okay, it is white to move. We're trying to get a skewer. The hint is we have to do a trade first, okay? So white to move, pause your video. Okay, you ready? Let's go. We make this rook come over here first. We are actually doing a fork right now. And we're being protected by this rook. So it's a forced trade. The rook we'll take back, right? But now, look at this. We got a skewer. We're attacking the king. Behind it's a bishop. King moves out of the way. We eat the bishop. And now we are actually winning this game. And we have to just, do good enough attacking to somehow win this game. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Those are the 9 problems. Click on the next link if you want to be challenged even more, or I will just see you at the next chess club, okay? So thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed this, hope you learned, and hope you all become stronger chess players. Thank you, and good night.